So you know that song from Ciara called Level Up, Level Up? Let me tell you, I listen to that song every now and then, especially when I feel stuck. That's what we're going to talk about today. Leveling you up, making sure that you build the new you. We're going to give you specific actions. Are you ready? Let's get started. Stop wasting hours trapped behind the keyboard when you could be spending time building relationships, attracting new leads, and nurturing your clients. My content marketing agency, Cadet Media Boutique, specializes in VIP custom video editing and graphic design for coaches, consultants, and service providers just like you who want to show up and stand out online. Visit my website, martinecadet.com/podcast, so you can get started today with your online presence. I look forward to supporting you. Welcome to another episode of the Amazing Visualize and Create Video Podcast. Yes, I said amazing. Why is it amazing? Well, because not only can you watch us, which is probably what you're doing, or you are listening to us. Now, the question is, how are you connected, right? Did you download the app? Are you listening on Apple Podcasts? Regardless, wherever you are right now, we're so excited to have you. This conversation today is all about talking about the situation where you're at right now, or perhaps you were a couple of weeks ago or even yesterday when you were feeling stuck. My guest today is an expert in making sure that you have the tools to get yourself out of bed and level up. And so, Marnye, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was the best introduction I've ever had. How exciting.
I love it. I love it. So for you listening and watching, this is why, if you haven't met me before, you'll hear me say very often, once you decide to show up and start creating what you visualize, you show up. And guess what I did? I showed up on social, and guess what Marnye did? She showed up on social and we connected. And this is why we're here today. We woke up this morning and we're like, we're going to give you what you need to level up. Actually, Marnie's going to do that. And so Marnye, I'm so excited to have you again. Thank you for coming on. And so I'd love to start the conversation of your story. And then I want to dive into this whole leveling up, building the new you, and potentially share with us some of the tips and tricks that you can give us to make sure that we implement when we feel stuck. And I know you're an expert in this, and you do this every day with millions of people, right? And towards the end, we'll make sure to talk about what's in the show note, how we can connect with you, and so on and so forth. And so for you listening and watching, you know what the deal is. And so Marnye, share your story, because you didn't wake up like this yesterday, huh? Tell us the truth. What happened?
I just popped out just like this.
Just like that.
Just fabulous, darling. Simply fabulous. Okay, so to be fair, I did not start off simply fabulous. I don't want anyone to misunderstand that I had that I was living in my car, that I had $10 to my name, nothing like that. I was living a very average, mediocre life. Just nothing was special about it. I was in a very good job and bored out of my mind, to the point that I was sitting at my desk and sobbing. You know, I came from an average family. You know, I had a mom and a dad. Yes, they were divorced, but I had a mom and a dad, and I had an average life. And then as life went on, life kind of takes over, you know, and you just start doing what you have to do, or what you think you're supposed to do to get moving and to keep the bills paid and to take care of your family. And one day I was sitting at my desk just sobbing because I was so bored. There were people being promoted. There were people doing new things, and I was being passed up. And my employer kept saying, but we need you right here. Just stay right here. And it took a long time for me to realize that they were very self-serving, and I needed to start doing something for me. And so one day I was cruising Facebook because, well, that's what you do when you're bored. And I know it's not the right answer, but it is the answer. And I saw an ad for a personal coach. And I thought, you know what, this is silly. I have nothing going for me. I have no grand goals. And why would I get a coach? And it turned out, I don't know, I called her anyway. And it turned out that she said, that's the whole point of having a coach, or finding somebody to help you figure out how to set goals and how to start moving forward. And it's okay to want more. I had a life that was good enough. Everyone told me it was good enough. I should be happy. There were plenty of people that didn't have what I had. And I was still, there was just so much more I wanted to do. And I still had bills to pay and a life to live. And it was really difficult to get past that. But somebody believed in me and said, you know what, you can go forward. I'll just keep poking at you until you start moving forward. And we're going to start working on your self-confidence. And we're going to start working on your self-image. And I'm going to ask you to start thinking about what you really want. It's okay to have dreams. Even though you're in a life that's good enough, it's okay to have dreams. And it's okay to pursue those dreams. And that's where I started really getting excited. It was like, you know what, you're right. Everyone should start doing this. I mean, what could you accomplish if you actually started pursuing your dreams? And I don't mean throwing away the life that you have. I mean, expanding on that and start developing those things that you dream about. You know, you see other people doing, and if you see someone else doing it, I guarantee you've got within you the ability to do it yourself. And so the things I started learning were things that I'd always been using in my life. I just wasn't conscious of it. And so they were brought to my attention to say, look, you're doing this. So if you can start focusing on what it is that you unconsciously do and start making that something that's readily available to you, then you can get yourself unstuck. You can go, hold it, this isn't working. I have a new way. I have a different way. And that's what I started pursuing. And it was exciting.
I love it. You know something, Marnye, I'm going to be honest with you. You brought me back. While you were speaking and sharing your story, I saw myself in my cubicle in my corporate job. And for you listening and watching, I don't know if you caught my first episode of this video podcast where I shared the date that I was laid off from this 6-figure corporate C-suite level job. That was really great, but just like you, and I was feeling, bored. And if you were feeling like that, and I was feeling like that, you're listening, you're watching, know that you're not the only one. Right. Okay. And so we're so glad that you're watching this episode, and we're so glad that you're watching all the way to this point, because there's a light. Okay. There's a light. One thing you said, when you're at this day job and you found this coach, which again, I say it all the time, it's okay to ask for help. Hello.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Ask for help.
Ask for help, because there's things, like you said, there's things that you didn't know you had, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to touch on that.
Okay.
The skills, because I feel like, at least in my experience, I remember sitting in that cubicle and I was like, what am I going to do? Right. Mm-hmm. And you said something about, look at what you have. I want you to dive in a little bit more on that.
Okay. If we could solve our problems reading a book, we'd all be experts and we would all be fine. So there's a lot of self-help books out there. And when I finally gave myself permission, or really just jumped in and said, you know what, I called her anyway, and I asked for help. That was like so liberating, because I didn't have to figure it out on my own. I didn't have to worry about, was I doing it right or wrong? And so she led me down a path that said, you know what, you can't get anywhere unless you know where you're going. And all I knew is I needed to be someplace different. And it didn't mean I needed to leave my job. It meant that I needed to do something different. And maybe the job was just a way to afford something different. Okay. So it's okay to have that as your backup. Don't think that you have to just chuck it all, but you could start dreaming and start going, you know what, I would really like to open up a cupcake stand on the weekends, because I love making cupcakes. I'm going to need this day job to pay for supplies, but it's okay. And you start dreaming that through. And when you start dreaming that through, you start developing a new attitude, a can-do attitude. And that's where I want you to focus. I want you to focus about what you're thinking about, because what you're thinking about, you're going to start working on. And how do you feel about that? And you need to feel really good about that. And you're going to start moving on that. And then your actions are going to reflect what it is you're thinking and feeling. And if you're thinking about wonderful things for yourself, and you feel really good about those things for yourself, your actions are going to reflect it, and others are going to want to come to you. And you start developing this. You start realizing that you have a destination and you're going to go there. The path is going to be fluid because you never know if you're going to go forward, backward. You're going to skin your knee. I tell everybody, okay, you've got a new goal. You've got a new destination that you're going. You've been thinking about this for so long and now you're here. I want you to know something's going to go wrong straight out of the gate. Bank on it. Okay. Just do it. Go with it. Stand up, dust yourself off and keep moving forward. Keep going toward that goal. And when you start doing that, you're going to start seeing a new you be created. I want you to start developing that confidence. Just believe it. Just fake it for right now. I tell a lot of people to do mirror work. This is what I have always done. It's kind of, you probably do it and you don't even notice it. Talk to your bathroom mirror because it's you. It's a conversation between you. And you need to have a heart-to-heart with you. What are you doing that's not allowing you to move forward? What are you afraid of? What are the changes that you need to make? Are all of the habits you have right now will only bring you to today. So if you want to go past that, you're going to have to change something that you're doing. You're going to have to find the courage and the confidence to move forward and to do something different, because change happens on the other side of that discomfort. You've got to allow yourself to move forward. And if you don't know how to do a thing, ask for help. There's no shame in asking for help. Don't make the same mistakes that others have made. It's not going to be a perfect road, but it's going to be a better road. And as you start doing these things, as you start realizing when you have a destination, you can get there. When you start changing the way you see yourself, that's talking to yourself in the mirror and giving yourself a talking to, get over it, get on with it. And you start seeing yourself in that new role, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions will start reflecting that new attitude. And it becomes your new standard. And you start moving forward. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to feel good. It's not perfect system. This is not about just saying happy things all day long. Life happens, folks. And when it happens, you need to be able to say, that sucked. Okay, I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel guilty. I feel bad. Acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and move on. And make a decision to do something different now. And don't keep repeating the same mistake. We all do it. Keep repeating the same thing over and over and over because it should work. It should, you know what? It didn't work. The first 3 times it didn't work. You might need to do something counterintuitive to make that work. And so if you start with your attitude and start adjusting your attitude, you know what? I want something different. This is going to be okay. Everything's going to start to change. Then you can start adding in these other pieces of finding what it is that you want, acknowledging that you have non-productive activities in your day. Do you binge watch Netflix for a couple of hours every day, right? Okay, could you cut that down to an hour and do some study or research for an hour? Split that time. You know, can you see yourself actually accomplishing what it is that you want and how that looks? What's the wallpaper look like? What's the sun look like? What are you wearing? How do you talk, walk? And are you associating with new people that say, you know what? I believe in you. You can do this. I want to be a success too. So let's share our success stories and I will believe in you and you believe in me and let's move forward. That's that mastermind. That's that accountability. And that's where it gets really exciting because new energy starts coming your way.
So good, Marnye. So powerful. And so for you listening, watching, did you catch this? Think, feel, act. Am I right here? Am I, Marnye?
You're right. You're right. Go with it. Go with it.
Think, feel, act. You know, I came across a post recently on social. I don't recall which platform it was. And I was like, this is interesting. I think it said something about you can control the input. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and that was all it said. And I said, but what about, oh, that's why, because the output, to your point, life is a moving target. And so this is why on the show, I am so passionate about bringing amazing guests just like you, Marnye, to come on and share with the world that, yes, it's possible, but all BS aside, okay, it sucks. But when you do what Marnye just shared, ask for help, recalibrate the energy around you. Love that you shared that, by the way. And I'm going to add, tune in to this video podcast often,
exactly.
Right? Because we talk about gratitude. And Marnye, I'm just letting you know you're coming back. to give us a little bit more, right? A new episode after this one. And so like tune in, right? You want to make sure that you can control the input. And thank you for sharing that
Mhm.
whole Netflix thing, because it's difficult when you have a day job and you want to do something extra, and you're looking at that vision, that dream, and you're like, how am I going to do this and all of that good stuff. That's where it starts. You take inventory of your time, right? Wouldn't you say, Marnie? Like,
Mhm.
let's try to put it into context a little bit for someone that's currently at a day job. And I love that you shared that. It's so important. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I remember saying to myself, my mindset at one point, I said, my job is my investor. It's my silent investor, right?
Mhm.
And once I had that on my mind, I was like, oh, I could show up for this job all day, every day, because I need them. They're my silent investor. But let's talk about this whole time management, because I feel like a lot of people have the vision, they have the dream, but yet they're stuck because the one excuse they have is that one thing we all love so preciously is time. All right. What would you suggest? What would you say to someone that says, Martine, Marnie, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have no time. But you're watching this and listening, so you do have
Right.
time. So listen to Marnie very closely as she walks you through this whole time management block that you feel is keeping you stuck.
Right. We all have the same amount of time in a day, so you can't manage time. You can only manage your activities, your actions during that time. And so let's pick on something that we can all relate to: dieting. I've been dieting since forever and ever and ever. And one of the things that you do when you're going to diet is you set yourself up for success. And the first thing I tell everybody to do is eat all the cookies in the kitchen. Don't throw them out, eat them. Now you don't need to buy any more. It's all okay. That's that. Time. You know what? What are you doing? What do you have in the house? How are you spending your time? Take inventory of your time. One day, just write down everything that you do. And then at the end of the day or the next day, read it and laugh out loud, because you're going to see where you're spending a lot of time that you could be doing other things. The Netflix thing. If you're watching Netflix for 2 hours a night, split it in half. It's okay. If you're doing the dishes, put in earbuds and listen to a podcast or a webinar and use that time. I don't know how to meditate very well, but I can weed the front flower bed and listen to a podcast, or I can just put earbuds in and leave it silent so I can just hear my own thoughts. And I start doubling up on things. That's that multitasking. I mean, come on, ladies, we know how to multitask. Layer up these activities, right? You're going to leave the house, you start the washing machine and leave the house. You come back, you move everything to the dryer, right? You set the dishwasher to run while everybody's in bed. You layer up these activities, and your learning is no different. How can you do this? We have this ability these days to get on a video call just like this one and share information and to meet people. Meetup is a great organization where you can find like-minded individuals. YouTube is a great tool to research almost anything. Write down how to wear white jeans and how to put on blue eyeshadow. I mean, it can be as minute as you like, or you can start studying quantum physics. I love quantum physics. I think it's just amazing. These weird little things that happen when you just allow it to happen. And that's what I want you to do. Allow success to come your way. Allow yourself to achieve more. You deserve it. If it's in your heart, that's what you want to be doing. And your time you will start spending your time, because we all have the same amount, doing the things that you're thinking about. So are you thinking about opening this new cupcake stand? What does that look like? Who do you know? And when you start looking for a thing, resources will start coming to you because they're all around you. You already know how to do these things. You just don't realize it. You know how to set a determined goal. You know how to find time in your day that you can use in a different way. You know how to start seeing yourself in a new place and feeling good about that, right? Start developing that confidence. Start developing that new person. It's okay. You know what? Your family's going to argue to begin with. Don't just expect it, because you're stepping outside the role that they already know, the thing that makes them uncomfortable. But you need to do for you what you need to do for you. And as you do that, you start treating yourself different. You start expecting different. Your standard is different. And when you start treating yourself with a new kind of respect, everyone else around you treats you with a new kind of respect, including the kids. They do as you do. They follow. They learn by example. And that's what you want to do. It's that thinking, that feeling, and acting, and that it changes everything. Start thinking about it. Start feeling good about what you want. Start acting like that new person. And other people are going to be put off. Don't worry about that. They'll come around. You do what you need to do. And those resources and those things will start coming to you. Layer up your activities. Find something that you do right now that you can split that time and do something else, and set a timer. I mean, I do a lot of social media work, and it's really easy to get sucked into that rabbit hole and to watch reels and Instagram and Facebook. And I need to set a timer. I can't do that because I've got other people in my household that want my time too. And so you just set it up. And when you have a focused time, when you have a deadline, you're going to be more productive. That's just the way that we're wired. We need to do that. To your point about taking things in consciously, we have our 5 senses, and we sight, sound, smell, hearing, and touch. And we take things in all day long, right? And we start processing that information, and we keep what we want and we let go what we don't want. We keep what taps a nerve. Does it make you feel good or does it make you feel bad? Excuse me. The news right now is full of all kinds of things that are really scary. There's a war in the Ukraine. The Supreme Court is handing out decisions that are being questioned by a lot of people. And the world seems to be falling apart around us. The economy is difficult. Okay, those things are all true, but those aren't the things I want you to embrace right now. I want you to embrace what it is that's going to make you feel good. You control your world. You control your economy. And the only way you can do that is to start feeling good about what it is that you want to feel good about. Think about that and act on it and start doing that. And when you start embracing that stuff, it will settle itself in your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind controls all your actions, your breathing, your heart rate, your mind activity, the way you walk, talk, feel. 98% of what we do is a habit. We have a collection of habits, and they're called a paradigm, kind of like a computer code. You get up in the morning in the same way, you drive to work in the same way, you do the laundry in the same way, you meet and greet people in the same way. Being on time is a habit, spending money is a habit, reading a book is a habit. These are all habits. And so you can start changing those habits. You pull out a bad habit, but you have to put a new one in there. You can't leave an empty line of code. Nature abhors a vacuum. Google sends out updates to their software all the time. They delete a bad line and they insert a new line so that the program still runs. And that's what I want you to do for you. What are the habits that you have that will allow you to find the time to start pursuing your dreams, to start thinking about what it is you want, to feel good about what it is you want, and start acting on those things? That's what you're going to do. You're going to start paying attention to what you're paying attention to. And if you want to know what it is, look around. What's in your life? That's what you're thinking about. So if you want to add something new, change something, you got to start thinking differently, feeling differently, and acting differently. And it comes with your attitude and what it is you want.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So good. Oh, so true. And listen, you're listening to this, watching, you're like, okay, I can feel it because I know I am. I don't know about you, but I'm like, yes, because this is the thing. Life, like we said, is a moving target. So right now your goal could be, yes, I want to start the business, but in a year it could be something else. It's always going to be something because you are allowed to have a piece of this abundance. Okay. And so that's why you're always going to create. And so at every stage in your life, I say this to myself all the time. I'm like, Martine, scale with precision. There's always going to be a moment where you're going to need what Marnye just shared with you in regards to look around, see what's going on, check on your habits, right? Love that. Oh my goodness. So good. And so I'm bringing this up because I don't know where you are in the stage of your life right now. And I'm just not just me, Marnye and I are super excited that you are tuned in all the way to this point, because for us, that means you're ready to think, feel, and finally act. and create.
Yeah.
And so if that's how you're feeling right now, hopefully you are, because I know I'm feeling like that sitting on my chair right now. I'm about to jump out of it. If you're feeling excited, listen up, watch closely if you're watching, listen closely if you're on the treadmill or washing the dishes right now, listen closely, because Marnie is going to share with you how you can connect with her, and so that she can help you through this process, right? You have it in you, right? Discovering what you're capable of doing, all those hidden talents that you got. And if you've had that vision that's pretty scary, that means it's a good one. She's going to help you get to it, right? And so I'm going to stop talking because Marnie needs to tell you all about how to get in touch with her and be able to work with her. Marnie, take it away. Let us know how to get in touch.
Thank you so much. That was so exciting. You know what? You're right. Goals are scary, but you know what? Just be excited. Don't worry about the fear. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Listen to your gut, go with it, and be excited. Don't be afraid of it. Be excited. That was absolutely the right thing to say. Thank you for doing that. So you can find me. Generally, I talk to people through social media, Instagram and Facebook. I ask people to message me from there, and we start off with a message and then a phone call and just see if it's even a fit. I mean, some people just need a swift kick in the pants, or somebody to ask them to take a deep dive and examine who they are. So I ask people to go find me at Envision Results on Facebook and on Instagram. It's ENVISION Results at Instagram and on Facebook. Both places you can find me. And we talk about what are the results that you want to talk about? What do you want for you? And that's where it starts. We ask some hard questions. Are you being honest with yourself? Are you doing the things that you need to be doing? Are you just looking for excuses? Do you want me to tell you it's okay to just sit and cry because, well, the cat threw up on the carpet? No, I want you to think about what it is you're thinking about. And that's where I come in. I want you to find these tools within you. And we've talked about them: setting a goal, taking a survey of how you spend your day and where you can find extra time, getting through the fear, understanding how to move forward, asking for help, getting more information. How do you see yourself in the future? And how do you feel? How are you acting? Those are the things that we're going to talk about. And some people just need a push and they're off to the races, and it's great. Other people need more help, and that's okay. I needed more help. I needed somebody to actually take me by the hand, and so ladies and gentlemen, do not feel bad. Ask for the help. If you want to get someplace quick, you ask for help. You find the person who's done it and you do what they tell you to do and you get it done. That's what I would tell you to do. Anyway, I am Marnie at Envision Results. There you go.
This was awesome. And listen, I guess if you're not on social, because you may not be, I know that there might be some people that are not on Facebook or Instagram, and that's totally okay. You don't have to. One thing you can do, you can connect with us on, if you're watching this, or maybe you're not watching this on YouTube, maybe if you have access to YouTube, find this episode, put a comment. You could always reach out to the network, to my podcast, and say, I saw the episode with Marnie. I'd love to find out how I can email her and whatnot. Feel free to email support@martinecadet.com. Let us know the show that you want support with. If it's this one, we will make sure to connect you. Every episode, if this is your first one, this is your first time hearing me say this, but if you've been around, I tell you this because I'm a professor and I always give homework to my students in college, right? So I'm giving you the homework. What's the homework? If you've been around, you know what I'm talking about. Check the show notes, like this episode, download the app, share it with your friends, talk about it, because guess what? There are tons of other people that were feeling the way you were feeling at the start of this conversation with Marnie, and now feeling so energized that want to feel like that too. So share the love, because we're all about love up in here. Okay. I love it.
Excellent.
This was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're amazing. I truly appreciate you. And I can't wait to have you back. Think,
excellent,
feel, and act. Say it with me. Think,
feel,
feel, and act. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye. You have just listened or watched the Visualize and Create show. Don't forget to download our app and make sure to leave us a review. And before I go, I do want you to visit my website, martinecadet.com. Browse around. There's a lot of stuff in there. I have a store. I also have great services available for you so that you can visualize and create anything that you want. I will see you in the next episode.